The Darren Till situation, especially in this environment these days, politically, it was a much tougher deal.
How high did it go?
Very high.
As high as it goes?
Pretty high.
You had dinner with President Trump last weekend? Was that mentioned?
It went pretty high. We got it done. That's all that matters.
We just obviously
told him he's not allowed to fill out any passport information by himself ever again.
We've just seen Hoya, in his own words, be a fanboy with Roberto Duran. What does it mean for you to obviously be putting an event on with the Hands of Stone in town?
Huge. I didn't even want to walk in here and do an interview after him, man. How do you follow that up? Roberto Duran is awesome. I'm honored that he's here for the fight this weekend, and it was cool to meet him. My first time meeting him.
Roberto Duran says he'd be willing to be his godfather, Hoya Masvidal, that is, if he wins and wants to do some kind of boxing crossover with a fight against Canelo. What are your thoughts on all the talk about crossover fights nowadays in the UFC and boxing?
You know how much I love crossover fights. I don't. I think they're two separate sports. Even the Tyson Fury thing I said the other day. Tyson Fury has worked hard his whole life to become one of the top 4 fighters in the world in boxing. And he's making good money and everything's going great for him. Why would you want to even come over here and attempt this, you know? And I don't think it ends well for him. I'm getting into boxing now. 5 years ago, I'd have said, yeah, Tyson Fury, come on over here and let's do this. But it doesn't make sense for him, for his career and in any other way.
When you bring up Zupa boxing, what did happen? I know there was supposed to be an announcement this past month.
Yeah, like what happens in any other, business that you run. We had some bumps in the road that I'm dealing with, and get it figured out and get this thing rolling.
Danny, you've been doing this such a long time. How refreshing is it for you that you can still do something new like this event and this belt?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, it's cool. You know what? I love the ones that blindside you. They come out of nowhere and, organically happen and build. And if you'd have told me a year ago that I'd be headlining a main event that wasn't a title fight and it would be Jorge Masvidal and Diaz, I'd have said, what? And here we are.
Or is that another thing that's interesting to you, that these guys have blown up so late in their careers? They're in their mid-30s and they were lower down the card earlier in their careers, and now look where they are. Is that interesting, surprising for you?
This is what you call a street cred fight. This is one of these fights that, organically grows and builds with the fans and the media, and you end up here.
Will Colby be allowed to sit next to the president tomorrow?
It's not whether Colby will be allowed to. Listen, President and I have been talking about a fight for a long time, him coming out. He wanted to come right after he won the election when we were here in New York, but obviously he couldn't, and it didn't work out. So we were talking about either this fight or December in Vegas, and we got him in here. There's a lot of things that go into where he sits and who's sitting next to him. So, we'll see.
Regarding January 18th, we spoke to John Cavan yesterday. He seems very, very optimistic that his boy will be on that card. Will Conor McGregor be on that card, percentage-wise, in your opinion?
There's literally nothing done. Cowboy hasn't even been called for a fight or anything else. So we're not even close to that fight. I'm focused on tomorrow, then December, ending this year with a bang. And in the next week and a half, I'll start working on what happens next year. Conor has obviously told me that's the date that he would like, so we'll see what we can get done.
What do you expect from Johnny Walker on Saturday? Like another KO? He had 3 fights, 3 KOs the first round.
Yeah, I mean, this card is so stacked with such great fights. And that's the main event for free on ESPN. That kid looks like he's going to be a future superstar and possible world champion. But tomorrow night's going to tell us a lot. He's been off, injured himself, and that's a nasty. I had the same surgery. He had the surgery like less than a week after me. Less than a week after me with the same doctor. We'll see how he does tomorrow night. And he's going in against a guy who's flying under the radar. Corey is very upset about the way that he feels he's been treated, and he should be fighting for a world title and all this other stuff. Well, tomorrow night's going to tell us a lot about both guys.
You didn't injure your shoulder the same way as he did, I imagine, right?
Yeah, no, not even close.
What does it say about the state of the UFC and the state of viral videos that 2 fighters who aren't smack talkers, who have this real, recognized real mentality, are headlining a UFC event with no title on the line?
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot. I don't even know if it's about viral videos. I think it's about the fact, if you look at the way Masvidal has won in his last few fights and the year that he's had. And then you look at Diaz coming back, winning the way he did, and his interview after the fight. That's really what got us to where we are now. And obviously me and my crew recognized that this had potential, and they did what they do and we did what we do, and here we are today.
Can you think of any other UFC or MMA fighters that have gotten this popular so late in their career, like a Jorge Masvidal and even Diaz?
Off the top of my head, no, but I'm sure there's somebody.
It's pretty cool that both of them kind of have that same narrative.
No, they do. Listen, that's why I said this is a street cred fight. This is, there's a completely different segment of the population in the world that is all about a fight like this.
Does it amuse you at all that
Well, that's why you see too. Right now, ESPN Plus is crushing it right now. So if you look at the normal fan base that we have for a UFC fight, and you look at how many buys this thing is doing right now, these are people that normally don't.
Does it amuse you at all that one of the most prestigious sporting institutions, I mean the highest in MMA, has a belt that says "Bad Mother Effer" on it? It's
I never
surreal.
thought that would happen either. No, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
There's no mention that they're holding off the Canelo fight until after the main event's done. Do you think they're doing that basically to protect, their product, I guess, this weekend?
I don't know if it's to protect their product, but obviously they want people watching their fight. So I warned dummy.
Were you amused by what's happening with Canelo and
I'm never
Oscar
amused.
right now?
Listen, I like Canelo and I respect Canelo. I like him. I respect him. And then the guys who invested in this thing, they're running a business and everything else. I told that moron not to go the same night, and he didn't do it for the good of everybody. That's not how they operate, and that's not how he operates. You saw what a snake he is when the Mayweather Conor fight. That's what this is all about with me and him. You know what I mean? This is the guy that I used to respect. I used to promote his fights on my social media pages and even UFC's and stuff like that. Then we do this big fight with McGregor and Mayweather, and he starts telling boxing fans not to watch it. He's a snake. He's a bad guy, and he's an idiot. And if people can't see now how many times I've proven this guy wrong and how many times I've proven this guy to be a liar and a snake, whether it's the Chuck Tito fight, he tells people not to watch the boxing match with Mayweather and McGregor, but then he wants to fight McGregor. Anyway, whatever.
The amusing thing I was talking about is Canelo.
No, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see
No, I'm talking
Canelo
about
get
Canelo
hurt.
ripping De La Hoya while De La Hoya is sitting next to him on a stage. Like, it seems like De La Hoya kind of has one job, which is to represent Canelo, and Canelo's angry with him.
Yeah. Oscar's a mess, man. That guy's a mess. In every way that you can be a mess.
Just to move it back onto UFC, just want to talk middleweight division. Obviously, Paulo Costa's out injured for a long period of time. What's next for Izzy?
That was really quick with a lot of accent.
Sorry,
Say
I
that to me again?
apologise. In the middleweight division, Israel Adesanya is obviously going to be needing a fight in that 8-month period that Paulo Costa is out. What's your ideas for him?
Well, what I love is that Israel is such a badass that he literally says, everybody thinks Yoel Romero's so tough and this guy's so whatever. He calls out Yoel Romero. I respect that. I love it. And when you have a champion that's willing to fight anybody, even most of these guys say, I ain't fighting Yoel Romero. He's got 2 losses or whatever. He's still the number 3 ranked guy in the world, and he is a bad boy. And those losses that he had were narrow, so much respect to him for that. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's next for him. I know that he's killing Paulo Costa because they came out and said, no, I can come back in April. No, the doctor said you can start training again in April. That doesn't mean you can come back in April. And with those type of injuries, you don't know how long it's going to be or how fast he really will recover. And what I don't want him to do is rush it. Hurt himself and make it even longer. Do what the doctor tells you to do. Take your time. Heal up. You're not going anywhere. This isn't, relax.
Does what happened to Jared Cannonier with his weigh-in miss this morning affect the way
Well, I wouldn't say that he missed. So if Cannonier was the guy, what was he, 0.8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 0.8. He would have had an hour to go cut 0.8. which I guarantee he would have done, but he didn't have to. Yeah, so he didn't really miss. He was on.
So he'll be paid in full? Like for what, I guess,
He'll be
you
paid
negotiated
whatever
with
deal
him?
we cut with him. Yeah, I don't know what deal we cut with him. Yeah, whatever deal we cut with him, obviously we will honor. Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, he made weight. If you're 0.8 and you still have another hour to cut, but we didn't need him to cut the 0.8.
He was called a week and a half ago as well. You know, it's not an easy circumstance.
That's all good.
To what degree does the winner of the BMF belt get a shot at the title?
I don't know. We'll see how this fight goes, and we'll see how it plays out. We'll see who wins, and then we'll see what's next. You know how this type of stuff goes. Diaz might, who knows, if he'll take off for another whatever, I don't know. And if Masvidal wins, obviously Masvidal is one of the top ranked guys in the world already. So we'll see.